Sight fishing is an exciting style of fly fishing, but it isn't the exclusive domain of clear water. It's very applicable to waters with only 2 or 3 feet of clarity. The blessing in disguise of murky water is that it's prime overhead cover. Just like willows, undercut grassy banks, riffled water, or log jams, poor water clarity offers trout cover and protection from predators or perceived threats. Trout know this and will use some of the shallowest water of the year during peak light of the day to hold and feed. Murky watered trout show quite well to the trained spotting eye. Trout backs tend to match their environment, and because they're a solid suspended shape, they'll appear darker than the water itself, and that's a dead giveaway. This often shows as a smudge-like appearance, and if that smudge is swaying, it's most likely a fish. The shape doesn't always have to appear bullet-like. Trout can simply appear as a moving dot of a smudge. Heads are often tough to see in murky water, but tails are usually revealing. Look for the flowing, twisting nature of tails. And trout often show as a straight line in murky water. If you dismiss a straight line as a stick, take 4 or 5 minutes to observe and see if that stick moves. Anglers too often dismiss a stick only to watch it swim away as we walk near. As always, your best bet is to gain elevation. The higher you are, the more likely you are to cut glare and have smudges, shapes, and colors become more obvious. Vegetative backdrops are almost always the best places on cloudy days, where sunny days offer good spotting almost any time. Let's have a real-life look at spotting during murky water conditions. So we've essentially come up on a river that we see as murky as ever. This situation could be spring runoff, it could be after a summer rain, or it could be a slip further up in the high country. In this case, we've got about 2 feet of visibility, and we know that the fish are here. It's a summer day. The water's a good temperature. It's not too warm, it's not too cold. In other words, the fish are going to be moving, they're going to be feeding. And we said, you know, even though that river's murky, why don't we have a go and see what we see and just focus on the stuff on the inside. And we have found a fish sitting right in this little bucket here. He's just nose behind a cream rock, and what revealed it to us was a straight line. If you look out into the river along the shoreline, everything's kind of round, everything's kind of naturally kind of flowing with the current, and you just saw him sway there. But every feature in all these shoreline seams is round. There's no straight lines, but what we saw was a smudge, a dark line essentially facing right into the current, and we said, you know what, that doesn't look right. And as we looked harder, we started to see a tail. Basically, we saw a tail go over top of a rock in the back end. That's a fish. And because it's murky water, we should be able to get away with 3X tippet. A little bit heavier, that way we don't break it off, that kind of thing. Plan B is, will he take a dry fly? Well, he just took a dry fly, didn't he? But he's been doing more subsurface feeding than anything else. I think he's come close to the surface once and on the surface once in about 10 minutes now. So I'm gonna get downstream below him. I'm not probably gonna be able to see him, but my land feature is the rock just slightly upstream on the left there, and that seam line coming out about 1.5 to 2 feet out and about 1 foot higher than that rock on shore. That's where I'm going to try to put my dry fly, and I'm going to put a dropper about 1 foot, 8 to 12 inches below my dry fly, because I know that this fish is actively feeding. He's not deep, he's only about 2 feet down tops, so I should be able to get away with a shorter dropper. And the reason I like my shorter dropper is it's more indicative, and the less time the fish has that fly in its mouth before my dry fly shows anything, I will be able to detect a strike sooner. And of course, after all that talking, the fish turned to eat something out of the pocket, and we never saw it again. So as all good things happen, that last fish, basically we looked at it, talked to it, and by the time we actually got in position, well, before he even left the bank, he was gone. Just like a big fish sometimes dances around in these rivers, that one just disappeared. So this one is in a classic spot, just surfing the pillow above a rock. He's going to be just below that yellow leaf right now, and I think before we get too cute with this, I think the last fish that disappeared on us before we even had a chance was saying less talk, more rock, so I'm just gonna go for it. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Beautiful.
And the colors of the fish are exactly the same as the river it is. You know, look at how fast that thing just disappears. But the giveaway is how dark its back is. And if they're anywhere near the surface, you're gonna see them just by looking in straight lines.